What's going on, everybody? Once again, this is the week 2 of the collaboration with Collecting and Connecting. Doing a great job with them over there and everything that they're doing with collecting cards. We're going to get into what's sponsoring this channel in 2 seconds, but I just want to give a shout out to them for collaborating with me, PudgyBoyzSportsTalk with a Z, on this kind of stuff, giving me the platform to be able to discuss something I'm extremely passionate about, which is the NFL draft, which is sports in general. Mostly New York sports content, sometimes other stuff, but getting to know people in these chats, getting to know people with this kind of community is going to benefit everybody, myself included, and I'm extremely, extremely excited about that moving forward. So what we're going to do now, we're going to start with the sponsor of the channel really quickly. We're going to go into how the channel runs, right? How the channel gets it's bread and butter and all that other good stuff. So sharing NBA Top Shot. NBA Top Shot is the future, guys, right? It's the absolute future. This is exactly where it's heading. You're collecting cards. You want to do stuff where you have the physical copies in your hands. I completely understand that. But moving forward in this old digital world, this is going to be the future of what exactly takes over the card collecting and everybody having their stuff together. Just a click. Something, you open these cards, open these moments, you purchase things on the marketplace, you could sell things, they give you these dope highlights and all that stuff. I was never into collecting cards myself, but this is exactly where the future is heading. So shout out to NBA Top Shot for sponsoring the video. Now we're getting into the stuff that we already hear which is the NFL mock draft, and we're going to go through about 20 or so picks, because I think last week I rambled on a little bit because I was extremely excited about the actual draft coming up in less than 3 weeks. Crazy news with Dexter Lawrence coming out today. I had a video on my channel. If you want to go check that out, there's a video in my channel regarding the Dexter Lawrence trade situation. So we're going to make sure we get all that stuff out as draft season comes along. But too much stuff is happening right now. It's just me, and WrestleMania is happening, and the Mets are happening, and the Giants are happening, the NFL draft. The New York Knicks are about to start the playoffs. So I'm a complete mess right now, and I'm trying to do this all by myself. So we're going to get it done because I have you guys, and I'm here to give you guys the content that you want to hear and you want to see. I'm not a big card collector, so I'm not going to be opening packs like a lot of people want to see. But if you want NFL draft type stuff, I'm here for you guys. So let's get straight into that. And if we have a couple of extra minutes, I'm going to go into something with the New York Mets as well. It's probably to finish off the video. And if I have to change my hat so people know that I'm speaking about the Mets, I know that was a thing last week where somebody was like, oh, change your hat. It is what it is. But we'll start with the NFL draft. I think we got through about 12 picks or something like that last week. So going to completely switch it up. Not doing trades yet. I have that stuff on my channel, PudgyBoyzSportsTalk. That stuff is linked below. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the good stuff. I'll wait till the end of the video to talk about all that stuff. No reason to bring all that stuff up now and bore everybody. So let's just get straight into the mock. Gonna go about 20 picks. So shout out to the chat. Len Dogs in the house already sold. Don't get crazy and spend all your money though. It's gonna be cool. So shout out to the people that are in the stream already. Let's get straight into the mock. So let me just hit the button here. So same exact scenario last week. We are using mockdrafthero.com. It's like the best one that I found so far. That's free because I'm not paying for it. But so we start with the Las Vegas Raiders last week, and what we had them doing is taking the most obvious player. What is happening? Why did this happen to me? My God. Start over. The internet. Okay. We start off with the Las Vegas Raiders going into the first overall pick. It's obviously going to be Fernando Mendoza. There is no explanation that needs to be done here. Fernando Mendoza is the clear-cut number 1 quarterback in the class. Not going to have an explanation about that. Can make all the throws. It depends on where Fernando Mendoza fits to the worst roster in the NFL, which is the Las Vegas Raiders. Going there now when they just signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year deal is going to be a different type of scenario for Mendoza. He won't have to start right away, which would be great for him. I know in this era today of everything is instant coffee, you have to have everything immediately. Doesn't have to be like that. The Raiders are not going to be a good team next year, so why rush the kid? Let him relax. Let him play behind Kirk Cousins. There's really no reason to rush him. Number 2 overall, I'm going to put Arvell Reese here for the New York Jets. The New York Jets need extremely bad help. They have a very thin defensive line. They need help at the defensive line position, at the edge rushing position. They just traded Jermaine Johnson, who was a young and upcoming pass rusher, to the Tennessee Titans with Robert Saleh over there. He's getting the guy back that he drafted 4 years ago in the first round of the NFL draft when the Jets had like 8 first-round picks that year, and they took all these players. Jermaine Johnson going there. Arvell Reese, you're drafting him to put his hand in the dirt and rush the quarterback. You're not drafting him to be the off-the-ball linebacker that he did 50-50 over at Ohio State. You want Arvell Reese to hand in the dirt, get the swim move, very good bend at the line of scrimmage. Arvell Reese could be a very good Danielle Hunter type comp. You look at a guy like Jonathan Grenard. Those are the type of guys that I've compared myself to Arvell Reese. So the Jets would be getting an extremely good player here if they're going to line him up at one position specifically. It's not going to be multiple positions because that won't be Arvell Reese's strength when he gets to the NFL. Put him at one position, let him rush the passer. He'll be very, very good at that. Going to the Arizona Cardinals, this to me, I think they need help in multiple places, right? You see offensive tackle. They're not taking a quarterback this high. Edge could be the position that I'm going to go here, and we're going to go David Bailey out of Texas Tech. David Bailey, Texas Tech, speed rusher off the edge. This guy has risen up the draft boards from into the top 10 fringe range. Over the second half of the college football season, David Bailey made a complete name for himself, and he rose up these draft boards into the top 5 and probably could even go number 2. Do not be surprised at all if he goes number 2 to the New York Jets. You will not be surprised if you hear that name, but I think it's going to be Reese. David Bailey's a guy at speed rusher off the edge, powerful hands at the line of scrimmage, going to attack the offensive tackles especially. Doesn't really line up on the inside much, doesn't really play linebacker much. You're looking strictly edge here for David Bailey, speed rusher. I think they're just going to take best player available, and for them it will be David Bailey, Texas Tech at the edge. Number 4, this is where things get tricky, especially for my New York Giants. What will the Tennessee Titans do in order to protect Carson, in order to protect his name, Cam Ward, in order to protect Cam Ward? How I forget his name is crazy. Shout out to the Miami Hurricanes. Cam Ward is a guy that needs to be protected. Do you take Francis Mauigoa here? Shout out to the U. Do you take a guy like Monroe Fleming, a guy raw, 6'7", big guy, very raw, very coachable? Do you take a guy like him this high? I don't think it could happen, but don't be surprised. The NFL draft is crazy. I do think this is a spot where the Tennessee Titans are going to take Jeremiah Love. I think there's been a lot of smoke with Jeremiah Love and the Tennessee Titans. Could I see a team like the Giants putting on this big-time smoke screen for the Tennessee Titans to go and take Jeremiah Love, to say how interested the Giants are? John Harbaugh said, quote, really, 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 like 4 or 5 reallys, really, really, really good player. That's what he said during the pre-watch for the NFL, for the Combine. So I don't think it'll be a crazy thing if they go out and they take Jeremiah Love at 4. It would actually help the New York Giants a little bit, not having to make that decision over there at number 4. But Jeremiah Love's a tremendous player. Best running back in the class, can do it all. Speed, burst, blocking ability, catching the football, does it all. Did it all at Notre Dame. If you're a fan of the complete running back, Jeremiah Love is your player. And the drop-off from Jeremiah Love at number 1 all the way down to the second running back in the class, it's a pretty big drop-off. So if you're taking a running back, don't buy into the stuff where positional value, because the next pick that I'm going to make as well is another position that the people of the NFL have said is a little undervalued or devalued, better is a better word for that, drafting this high. Number 5, the New York Giants are going to take my number 1 player in the class. That's safety Caleb Downs out of Ohio State. And I'm not saying this lightly. I'm not saying this just because I'm a Giants fan, because I go number 5 and because this would not be the number 1 overall pick, obviously. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Giants fan. If you look back at my videos over the past couple of weeks or the past month talking about the draft, Caleb Downs, from what I've watched on film, is the most complete safety prospect that I've watched in at least 5 or 6 years studying the NFL draft. That goes back to Kyle Hamilton. That goes back to other players that have gone high in the NFL draft. I think Caleb Downs is a tremendous safety prospect. He plays huge at the line of scrimmage. Great run stopper, goes back on the football well, attacks the football well, doesn't get handsy when the ball's up in the air. Tremendous eye-to-ball ratio when it's up in the air, going to make a play for it. You don't see the turnovers much with Caleb Downs. I think that could change with Denard Wilson and the New York Football Giants. But Caleb Downs could do it all. Locks down the tight end, locks down the slot. Very tremendous blitzer. Great tackler. This is the most complete safety prospect that I've watched in a very, very long time. And I'm extremely, extremely happy to have him. I'm saying it like we just drafted him. Now I'm getting too excited. This is what I can't do. I can't get excited about certain players because then when we don't get them, I get all pissed off and I get sad and I walk around mopey. But there are plenty of players in this class to get excited about. But we will find, we will make sure that we get Caleb Downs. Banana Mac, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that for the super chat there. Banana Mac says Dolphins fan over here. I will get to the Dolphins, Banana Mac. Trust me, I will. I have a very good pick lined up for the Miami Dolphins. That is much appreciated. Thank you so much for putting that in there. Let's just run through the chat really quick. Fins up. Yeah, Banana, what do you think about what the Dolphins did this year so far? The cleaning house with Tagovailoa gone, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Like, let me see what you think about that. We'll just go over a couple of people that have joined us. I see a lot of names from last week as well, which I appreciate you guys for stopping in. It means the world to me. Cart Pigs is in the house. John Garrison in the house says the Bears. I see the Chiefs. I see the Browns. I see it all over the NFL. Len Dog's in the house. Paulie in the house. What's going on, Paulie? Cowboys, Mr. Kicker in the house. Cowboys, man, don't do that to me. Come on. What are you doing? Mr. Kicker, don't do that to me. Should have got rid of, Banana says, should have got rid of Tua last year, in my opinion. Would have loved to keep Tyreek. Yeah, I agree. Tua is kind of the weak link there. He was the weak link for a couple of years, but he did have a great year a couple of years ago, when they had all that stuff going on with the number one offense. Going to the Cleveland Browns, I've had Carnell Tate going here for a couple of weeks now because I think they're going to need to give Shedeur Sanders some help. It seems like Shedeur Sanders is going to be the quarterback over the next couple of years. I don't know what Kevin Stefanski and the relationship they had there. I think Shedeur Sanders actually has a ton of talent and just needs to have the right team put around him. Is he the perfect quarterback? Absolutely not. But I think Shedeur Sanders' personality kind of clouds over the actual talent that this kid has. I think he's got a lot of talent. He's an extremely accurate quarterback. Doesn't have the strongest arm. He's a little bit less mobile than a guy like Dart or a guy like Cam Ward, but Shedeur Sanders could be a winning quarterback in this league. And don't let the personality and all that stuff get in the way of him being a good quarterback. He could happen here. What the Browns need to do here, and I had them taking Carnell Tate. This is going to be Francis Maui-Noah out of Miami. And I'm a huge Miami Hurricanes fan, so I've watched a lot of Francis Maui-Noah over the last year and a half. Kid's a mauler, right? The kid's an absolute game-wrecking mauler in the run game, in the pass game. He's the type of guy that he takes pride. Not everybody does this, but he takes pride in protecting his quarterback, in opening up the run lanes. You look at the pass blocking on him and the run blocking, and you look at the hands. The hands are strong as hell. He puts his hands on guys and they fall backwards. You don't see that a lot with these offensive tackles or these offensive linemen. The only problem here with a guy like Francis Maui-Noah is the arm length. Does he have long enough arms to be a good offensive tackle in this league? I think he could be, but I think he does transition to the guard position. Probably not this year, maybe as early as next season. I think he'll be better suited with the short arm length to be at the guard position. So you think that a guy like him, they're going to need to protect Shedeur Sanders. They're going to have to protect Shedeur Sanders, and they need to get guys in here to do it. I don't think Carnell Tate does that. But it's a tremendous play. Now we go to Washington at number 7, and Sonny Styles will be the pick here. Sonny Styles could go as high as 3. He could go to the Giants at 5. He could go to the Titans at 4. But Sonny Styles falling here to number 7 for the Washington Commanders would be a tremendous get for them. As painful as it is for me to say that, I think Sonny Styles is, and the Isaiah Simmons comparisons from Clemson a couple of years ago, not fair at all. Isaiah Simmons never had a position in college. He played corner, safety, linebacker, lined up on the defensive line at edge. Sonny Styles is a freak athlete with tremendous upside at the linebacker position. He's a sideline to sideline speed rushing linebacker, does not miss tackles, constantly behind the line of scrimmage. He's an absolute menace when he's lined up at the line of scrimmage, can fall back, play the tight end, covers very well. He will not line up like Isaiah Simmons did at corner at Clemson and go play these receivers out there. Styles is a tremendous freak athlete. The only thing for Sonny Styles It has to be the NFL play recognition. Sometimes has a little bit of trouble recognizing plays after they're snapped, but he will adjust to that. You get him in the right system, get him with the right coordinator. He has the athleticism, he's got the speed, and he's got the ability to make the play rec in the NFL a lot better. That stuff could be coachable. That stuff is very teachable. And Sonny Styles is a tremendous talent. He would be a great pick for the Washington Commanders. Going to number 8 with the New Orleans Saints, who are in a weird position. They still have Chris Olave, so I don't want to go Carnell Tate here. With the New Orleans Saints, we'll go Ruben Bain Jr. Ruben Bain out of Miami. Shout out to the U. Ruben Bain, he's like the freak darling at the edge rushing position, right? Stronger than David Bailey, stronger than Arvell Reese, gives you that mauler type guy at the edge. Do I see Ruben Bain getting us 15, 16 sacks a season? I don't see him having that type of potential, but what I do see is Ruben Bain consistently getting you 8 to 10, 8 to 11 sacks per season, probably after his rookie season. I don't see him being as dominant immediately, but he does have extreme good potential, Ruben Bain. Great against the run. You look at a guy at the edge that sets the edge. Tremendous run stopper, Ruben Bain is. Really strong at the point of attack. He will bully average to below average offensive linemen. Not everybody could come out of college and do it. He will be able to do that on pure strength alone. The problem with Ruben Bain is the bend. Does he have the flexibility to get under the tackles, through the guards? Does he have that closing speed that gets him those? Instead of having 7 sacks a year, does the closing speed improve to where he gets 12, 13 sacks a year? That's what you're looking at with Ruben Bain, but he's a great talent. Going to number 9 with the Kansas City Chiefs, one of the most obvious picks in the class, Mansour Delane will go to the Kansas City Chiefs. They just traded Trent McDuffie. They're going to need to replenish at the corner position. And what better way to do that for the Kansas City Chiefs other than getting Mansour Delane, the top cover corner in this class? One of my favorite statistics about Mansour Delane. One second. It's cold coffee now. It's not that good. One of my favorite statistics about Mansour Delane is the penalties, right? He gets handsy at the line of scrimmage, but he does it in such a finesse way where he just does not get penalized. He does not get penalized, especially in college where you could get penalized very easily. That's going to transition to the NFL. So Delane is very physical at the line of scrimmage. When the ball's up in the air, he is a turnover machine. He's going to go up and get the football. Very strong at the point of attack. Goes up and gets it. Shuts down slot. So you can line up outside. You look at Delane, and he could plug and play immediately for the Kansas City Chiefs at the CB1 position. This would be a great get for them. They're going to have to make sure that they land Delane because he could easily go as high as 5 to the Giants. I had him in a mock at one time right there. I'm going to go to number 10, and then I'm going to run back to the chat real quick. So the Cincinnati Bengals, what do they always need help with, right? The offensive line. They don't need skill position. Their number one target should be the best player available on defense right now. They could use help on the O-line, but they need defense in the absolute worst way. And you look at the board, right? You look at the best available. You're not seeing that guy right now. You could go Akeem Mesidor out of Miami. You could go Keldrick Falk out of Auburn, but you're not going to do it. What they're going to do, and this one's a little tricky because he did just get hurt during the combine. So we're going to go corner Jared McCoy out of Tennessee. Jermod McCoy. Jermod McCoy is the second best corner in this class. Second best corner in this class. They need absolute help in that secondary in Cincinnati. But it feels like Cincinnati just needs help everywhere, even though they have so much talent on that roster with Burrow. But all of their talent is on the offensive side of the football. They need help defensively, and they're going to get it by drafting McCoy here. So I'm just going to go to the chat really quick. Anthony, what's going on, man? Says, hypothetically, if the Browns said you could get Myles Garrett for the 5th pick and you're number 1 next year, you make that trade 1,000%. If the Cleveland Browns called me and I'm the Giants general manager and they said you could have Myles Garrett, you got to give us the 5th overall pick and next year's 1st round pick, which I think is going to be a little bit later because I think the Giants will win a few more games than years past. I'm making that trade immediately. I'm hanging up the phone before the Browns could change their mind I'm hanging the phone up immediately. Maybe, excuse me, maybe there's a scenario where the Dexter Lawrence news just came out and the Giants maybe include the 5th overall pick this year and possibly Dexter Lawrence. Send him over to Cleveland. We'll take Myles Garrett off your hands and pair Myles Garrett with Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and work on that interior of the line through the draft, which there's a tremendous player from Ohio State that the Giants I'd love to pick up in the early second round. Esterix, Soto news is brutal from about 30% of my 323. Yeah, it does suck. It does. The Soto news is out. So he's going to be out about 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the max with the mild calf strain. But you know what? When we get into, I'm going to get into the Met stuff later, but it's better that they put him on the IL now than just be cautionary with it, because there's no reason to rush him out onto the field, especially with the way that they played over the last 3 years. Hive, thanks for stopping in. George White says, go Bills. Caleb says, bear down. So we got Bears fans, Bills fans, Dolphins fans. We got a lot of different fan bases in this chat. I appreciate every one of you guys for being here and coming through this with me. How far into this are we? Because I will not let you guys sit through another 40 minutes of me rambling over these draft picks. I'm only up to number 11. All right, we're going to push through. Banana Mac, your team here. The Miami Dolphins. This would be a great spot, right? I don't think this happens, but for the sake of this mock draft, Carnell Tate will replenish the wide receiver position for the Miami Dolphins. They just lost Tyreek Hill. They just lost Jalen Waddle through trade. What better spot to come here than Carnell Tate? This could also be a Mekhi Lemon spot. This could also be a Jordan Tyson spot. Either way, the Miami Dolphins are going to get some help in that much-needed wide receiver room, especially from Malik Willis, who they just gave a little bit of money to. They're going to have to help him out. Coming to the Cowboys, which absolutely sucks. Screw the Cowboys. I'm going to go to the worst player possible. No, I'm kidding. Cowboys need help in a few positions as well. They always go best offensive lineman available, it seems like. I don't think they're going to go Monroe Fleming here, but this would be a spot where I would be a little upset that they go Vega Iwana here. For the sake of this draft, we'll just give him Vega Iwana. Vega Iwana is the most plug-and-play guard in this class. I talk about Maui Noah, and there's a kid named Spencer Fano out of Utah who I also think will transition to guard. But plug-and-play guard position, left guard, right guard. I want Vega Iwana from Penn State is that guy. He's going to come in, and he's going to plug and play for probably the next decade to whatever team takes him. Big kid, man. Big kid, 6'4", 315, 320, strong, puts guys on their ass. You look at his game film, and you fall in love with him immediately. If I showed you a highlight reel of Iwana throughout the first 10 plays, you'll fall in love with the kid after 3. The game tape on him is absolutely tremendous, but he's a guard, and the problem with the guard position is you're not drafting him that high. That's the only reason Iwana falls down to 13 in this class. Going with the LA Rams, who have this draft pick, I think from the Falcons last year, when they traded for James Pierce. The Rams need – what do the Rams need? What do the Rams always replenish with? Jordan Tyson, wide receiver from Arizona State. Jordan Tyson, if not for the injuries, the collarbone, the hamstring, the torn ACL. Jordan Tyson, if not for all of those injuries, is probably the consensus number 1 overall receiver in this class. He's explosive. Footwork is tremendous. Hands are tremendous. Ball skills tremendous. Route running tremendous. He is so good at the line of scrimmage. The get off is really good. The speed downfield is really good. And this is post-injury. So pre-injury, you could just imagine. But post-injury, he's still that explosive guy. To get him here at 13 for the Rams would be great. The Baltimore Ravens, who are in need of a lot, John Harbaugh's former team, they could use help on the interior. So we'll go Spencer Fano here out of Utah, who he's listed as a tackle, but he's a guy that I think will transition as well to the guard position. I think he's better suited for that. He does struggle just a little bit with the speedier edge rushers, and the way you could solve that, don't put him out there on the island. Move him to the inside, let him be the dominant guard that he could be, and that he actually showed at Utah. No reason to completely change his play style up. Let him come down. Don't put him out there. And put him on the island against the Myles Garretts of the world that you're going to have to put him against when you're the Baltimore Ravens. You got Casey Hayward, you got T.J. Watt, don't put Spencer Fano there if you're going to draft him. Put him on the inside. Give him some help. He could be a very good guard, excuse me, in the NFL. Going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 15. Buccaneers were a little disappointing, right? They started off hot last year, and then everything kind of just fell apart. This is going to be a good spot for them to get a receiver as well. I think they need help at that position after losing Mike Evans. So we're going to go with Mekhi Lemon out of USC. Mekhi Lemon is fast, great footwork, great hands, good route runner. Mekhi Lemon is a kid that is going to be exciting to watch in the right offense in the NFL. You would have loved to see him in this box specifically go to the Rams, because that offense is a little more up-tempo and it's a little more new age, if that's the right term for it. But Mekhi Lemon will be a great fit. Not going to replace Mike Evans' productivity immediately, and Chris Godwin's always injured, so you want to get a receiver in this class, and Mekhi Lemon's a pretty good receiver. He's going to come out. He could even be the second receiver taken in this class. Going to the New York Jets, this is going to be Kenyon Sadiq, tight end. This will be the first tight end off the board. Kenyon Sadiq is an absolute freak show at the tight end position. He could be a weapon and a half for a team. This is a Kyle Pitts type clone, but I think Kenyon Sadiq has immediate impact to the team that he goes to, depending on where they're positioned in this league. The Jets with Geno Smith. I don't think Geno Smith is as bad as people think. He's not great, but he's going to bring a little bit of respect back to the Jets and good quarterback play. What they did last year with Justin Fields was a complete joke, and they should have never had him playing the quarterback position for this team, as well as paying him $20 million a season for 2 years. The Jets are just a lost franchise. But Kenyon Sadiq here, this would be a great draft for the Jets, right? Getting Arvell Reese at 2, getting Kenyon Sadiq at number 16, barring that they don't take a Ty Simpson here. I think that Kenyon Sadiq is a great tight end, really good hands, great in the red zone. He could be a good get for the New York Jets at 16. Going with 17 to the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins. Going to the Detroit Lions at number 17 with a very sad ending to their season will be Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle out of Georgia, 6'7", 320. Huge kid, man. Got to be able to coach Monroe Freeling. If you want Freeling to be a stud in this league, you're going to have to coach him up, because he's got all the intangibles that you want at an offensive tackle position. Strong, great get off at the line of scrimmage, puts guys on their backs. He's so strong, man. You look strongest offensive lineman in this class. Monroe Freeling has all the tools to be the top lineman in this class. He's just not polished. You're going to need a great coach. And what better team to get a great project at offensive tackle than the Detroit Lions? Their offensive line has been absolutely amazing for years now. Putting Freeling there, letting him play with that team, with that offensive line coach, with the head coach there, Dan Campbell, this could be a great spot for a guy like Freeling to get here and develop into that all-pro, all-world offensive tackle. Going to the Minnesota Vikings, they need a lot of help everywhere, right? They could use help everywhere. Harrison Smith's another year older. They're going to take Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon here. 2 players from Oregon going in the last 3 picks with Sadiq and Dylan Thieneman. The top safety after Caleb Downs in this class. Ballhawk. You get a little weary about some of the guys from Oregon. You don't know how they're going to adjust to the NFL, but the defensive kids, they're going to be pretty good. I like this kid here at number 18 to the Minnesota Vikings. We'll just plow through these next 2 picks. The Carolina Panthers here, Avion Terrell. The Carolina Panthers could use a lot of help. None of this here says corner, but I'm going to take a corner here. Avion Terrell is a kid that hurt his hamstring in the draft process. I think he's going to be a really good cover corner. Does struggle a little bit, gets a little handsy at times, but when you see Terrell at Clemson, you see that potential. AJ Terrell, if you think of it from Clemson, you could probably combine the 2 players and you could get a good comp out of them. Dallas, again, they have another first-round pick because of the Green Bay Packers and the Micah Parsons trade. I don't know why, but I could see Caden McDonald going here, and maybe this would be a little high for Caden McDonald because I would love for him to fall to the second round to the Giants. Caden McDonald is the top defensive tackle in this class. He is an absolute run stuffer. I think he would be the greatest pick for the Giants to be able to get. He'd be the greatest pick for the Giants to be able to get with the second pick. I mean, I'm sorry, with the third pick, with fourth pick in the second round. I would absolutely love that. Go Pack Go. 81-79. The Knicks are winning by 2. Thank you for the update. Len Dogs, much appreciated. That could be a potential first-round matchup for the New York Knicks. So get used to seeing the Hawks, because that could be the next 2 weeks worth of games for the New York Knicks. So we got 30 minutes into the NFL mock. We went 20 picks. Probably going to go full round next week. If that's the case, if you guys are interested in that, let me know. So we're going to just buzz off of the NFL mock draft for now. Excuse me. And we're going to move into hang on one second. There we go. So for the next 10 minutes, I will get you guys some Mets updates. I don't know how many people are watching baseball. How many people? I know there's a card collecting community here, and if there's any baseball card collectors, let me know. But the New York Mets, I've been going back and forth with Mets fans since November of 2025, and they've been really, really obnoxious fans. The Met fan is probably the most obnoxious fan in the entire baseball community, because they're never satisfied, but they all think they know what it takes to win when they've just never seen winning in their entire lifetimes, right? Manuel Cruz in the chat says the Niners, San Francisco, they're going to bounce back next year and have a big year. Juan Soto hits the injured list, so he's going to be out at least 2 to 3 weeks, which does suck, but I'd rather the mild calf strain, I'd rather that be taken care of now and be cautionary with it than actually try and let him play through it when we have at least 140 games with him coming up. He'll miss maybe 10 games, and then he'll come back and he'll be perfectly fine. It's Juan Soto. He plays almost every game every year. Mets fans were panicking. Mets fans were absolutely panicking after the 3-4 start. Told everybody to just calm down for a little bit, but people act, and it's good that we did the mock draft prior to this. Baseball fans sometimes act like the baseball season is the same thing as the NFL season, where you could start 3-4 in baseball and you still have 157 games to play or 155 games to play. In football, when you start 3-4, yeah, you're allowed to panic because there's only 10 games left. In baseball, you have 90% of your season left. So the Mets fans are panicking. Everybody was calling Francisco Lindor the cancer, kill this guy, trade this guy, shoot this guy, do this with that guy. This guy's wife is ruining the franchise. Cohen's got to sell the team. All this stuff that was happening. And Mets fans were just flipping out because they were preconceived, because they had it in their brains that no matter what happens this year, everything was going to fail because we lost the Pete Alonsos, we lost Jeff McNeil, we lost Brandon Nimmo, we lost all those players, Edwin Diaz. So there was absolutely no chance that the Mets could be a good team this year. They had that in their brains already inside of it. So there was no way to convince them. So them getting off to the 3-4 start, they loved it. And there's a certain percentage of fans that want to see the team lose. There's a certain percentage of fans that would rather be right and the team fail than be wrong and the team win, because it would make them look foolish. It would make them look stupid. They already look stupid because the Mets have now won 3 games in a row after starting 3-4, now 6-4, half game back of the division. It is a beautiful thing to see. The Met offense is starting to pick up and starting to look like the Met offense that I thought it would look like in this offseason, where they're putting the bat to the ball, not striking out, runners in scoring position. They're starting to drive them in at a more consistent rate, and they're more athletic on the bases. The stolen bases are coming a lot easier. Guys in the outfield, there's a few guys out of position, but they're all playing pretty well. Bo Bichette really adjusting to third base. Polanco, DH. Mark Vientos has got probably the biggest surprise, and he gets the biggest shout out from me, because a lot of Mets fans had him gone before the season started. Nobody wanted him on the team because of a slow start in spring training and because of last year with Mark Vientos. But now, if it wasn't for Mark Vientos, you don't know where this Met team would be right now. But because of him and his hot start, hitting like 470 now, putting the ball. He looks like the guy from 2024 that a lot of us fell in love with in that postseason run for the New York Mets. The Grimace Mets, the 2024 team that was very exciting. So the Mets are off today, which is awesome. Then they're starting a 3-game set with the Diamondbacks coming up tomorrow and the next 2 days after that. The games have been moved from 7 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So that's pretty good because of the weather. I expect the Mets to be just fine over the next 2 weeks without Juan Soto. I think it'll be perfectly fine. Francisco Lindor has yet to get going. Bo Bichette is getting going. Luis Robert Jr., my favorite player on the team aside from Juan Soto, he's off to a tremendous start. You love to see that from Luis Robert. I was really looking forward to them trying to trade for him the last 2 years, finally getting him, I was so excited. If you look back on my channel, I was screaming into my phone for Luis Robert Jr. Bichette Day in the house. Bichette Day. But yeah, the Mets are going to be fine, man. The Mets are going to be just fine. It's such a long season, and people want to panic. And when you put things into perspective with what the Mets fan is going through right now, I understand that people still have their heads all the way up Pete Alonso's behind, and they just don't want to let him go. And if you look at what Pete Alonso's doing right now, it's not good at all. He looks horrible at the plate. Orioles fans are already booing him. Not to say that he's going to not have a good career over there, but put things into perspective. It's early in the season. The Mets are going to be fine. Their pitching has been so good so far this year. The starting pitching, the bullpen has been lights out. Devin Williams has been great. Luke Weaver, Brooks Raley, Freddie Peralta, who's going tomorrow, who the Mets acquired in the offseason, and then going with Clay Holmes. A lot of people clown the Clay Holmes signing. That turned out to be a really good one, right? So quick job on the Mets. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I would like to finish watching this Knicks game, to be fair. To be a tight game. Let's go, Knicks. Thank you guys for joining. Just wanted to hop on and do a quick mock. We went 20 picks. We'll probably go 30 next week. Probably do the full 45 minutes to an hour with the mock draft. We'll go more in depth with a lot of those players as we are less than 3 weeks away from the NFL draft. Met Talk will be put at a halt for now. I just like to get the Met Talk in as much as I possibly can because people don't want to hear the Mets, and the Mets fan base is very obnoxious. And I like to fight against the Mets fans. But thank you guys all for coming in, for commenting. Shout out to Banana Mac for the super chat there. That's much appreciated. Go Yankees. Yeah, go screw yourself. Catherine, Anthony, Paulie, everybody who stopped in the chat, thank you guys so much for this Collecting and Connecting collaboration going into week 2. Hopefully we'll back again next week, and hopefully you guys are back again next week. So thank you guys for watching. Much appreciated. Love you guys.